So today on the show, we have a very special guest who I met randomly a few weeks ago. You're going to hear about that, and she's going to share her journey of single motherhood. It's a very special episode of the Dr. Joe Show, and I can't wait to share it with you today. So thank you, Shannon, for coming in. It's so nice to meet you properly.
Yeah.
So the way we actually met was randomly when James and I were having date night, and you were there. Was that for a birthday party?
Yeah, it was for a birthday dinner. Out at McLaren Vale.
We met and you told me your story, and I said, well, it'd be great to interview you just because I think part of changing the culture is sharing stories.
Mm-hmm.
And even in just the little glimpse I had with you, I could see you were such a brave, inspiring woman.
I don't know.
And so I'm very grateful for you making the time. Thank you. And we may get interrupted by a little guest because Shannon's daughter is in the other room.
I did bring my little 2-year-old. Yeah.
So she's currently occupied, but we'll just see. We'll see if we can get through it without the interruption. So the first question I just wanted to ask you, I guess, is can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
So I'm currently a nursing student in my second year, and I'm really, really loving it. And I actually think being a mother has really helped me with that. Learning how the basics of nurturing for someone, taking care of someone. I just live me and my daughter. We have a few housemates, and that's about it. Full-time uni, full-time mum.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you tell us about the situation a few years ago when you found out you were pregnant? What was going on in your life? Where were you at? How did you find the news?
So at the time I was working 2 jobs and studying, but I was actually studying law at the time. I wasn't prepared. I was just wanting to travel and do all these things. But then, I fell pregnant. And at the time, I think it was January of 2022 that I found out. And at the time, her dad actually just sensed I was pregnant. He just said to me, I think you're pregnant. I'm going to get a test. And I thought, oh, gosh, he's just overreacting. But no, he was right. And I was. And it was quite a shock. I won't lie. I was very scared. I wasn't expecting it. But I think people often debate, what's my purpose? Where's my life heading? And I think often you just live your life and find your purpose in that. And mine was to be a mum. And I'm really enjoying it. I don't regret it. It's definitely had its challenges, but I really love it, and I'm really glad. I mean,
How old were you?
I was 22.
So you were really quite young by modern standards, not by olden standards. People were having babies at that age.
I was young, and everyone around me was, no one around me at the time was having kids. Now it feels like everyone is having kids around me now that she's grown up a bit. But it was very daunting. It was scary, and I didn't have many mum friends, which I think made it a bit scarier. Now that I do, it's definitely helped a lot. And
what was when your partner, is he still your partner? No. Okay. So when he said to you, I think you're pregnant, were you like, no way, that can't be true? Or did you were there some symptoms, like were you starting to feel sick? Or?
No, I thought, no, that cannot be true. And he kept saying it for a while, actually. And then I just decided, I'll just do it just to check, just to be safe. So I said, okay, well, we can get a test if you like. And 2 little lines popped up, and it was actually very scary.
What was your heart doing?
Beating very fast.
What was his reaction?
I mean, we both were just in silence. We were trying to process it. It was quite a shock. I remember calling my mum, my best friend, and just saying, Mum, what do I do? And she was very supportive, but even she was very scared. I mean, she knows being a mother is an amazing job and the best role that I'll ever have, but it has its challenges. So I think she knew what lay ahead. But she was very supportive. I'll support you no matter what. But for her to say that, a woman that really believes in life, I knew that it was a scary time for her to say that.
Did the thought of abortion come into your mind?
Yeah, definitely. And I openly say that. I definitely debated it because I was scared. I wasn't ready. I didn't have my career and all those things sorted. But I just felt convicted, and I just knew that it was a life. I actually looked into it a lot. I would research, testimonies of women that had had abortions and what their life looked like afterwards. I really looked into it. I called up the place. I asked about procedures. I did the whole lot.
So you rang the pregnancy advisory clinic?
No, I think I ran the abortion clinic.
That is the abortion clinic. They call themselves the pregnancy advisory clinic, but they really are. They're the abortion clinic in Adelaide.
Oh, well, I called them.
Yeah.
And I do remember speaking to a woman that was almost like, she was saying, no, it's fine. You just take a pill. You take one here and then you take one at home. It's just like having a period. And after a while, they just kept calling me. And I said, I'm just going to think about it. And they kept calling and calling. What's going on? Can we help you? And it almost felt like there was so much pressure there that it did help me to back off a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucy. Hi. Oh, the telephone might have been ringing. Yeah, Lucy's been watching a bit of Peppa Pig. So
I don't want my lips.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We only had a very short chat
the
other
night.
So
they called me a lot and I was surprised. And
the abortion clinic called you a lot?
Yeah, after I called them, just because they obviously noted my name. I'm not sure why they were calling, if they were checking, and I'm not actually sure why, but they were just saying, what have you decided? Do you need to come in? Do we need to book an appointment? And eventually I just said, look, no, I'm not interested.
Wow.
Because I felt very rushed.
Yeah.
And
that's horrible.
Yeah.
So you did feel like there was a bit of pressure and urgency from them around getting the abortion.
Yeah, I think so. They might just talk about, we're just checking up on you. Are you okay? Do you need support? But it was very much, let's just book it in. Let's get something in and we can talk about it later when we get there.
We're making a big mess. A friend of mine who ended up getting an abortion, but she was much younger when she found out she was unexpectedly pregnant, she also went there and she felt funneled to the abortion. She felt that they didn't give her other options, and she tried to raise questions about, what about if I do this? And that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
I wonder how many babies just get killed that way.
And I think exactly, a woman's in a scary, vulnerable position and you're pushing that it's almost, the best choice. She hasn't had a moment to make up her mind. If she hasn't heard that actually it's not the only choice, you can have your baby and everything will work out. It will be okay. There's support for women that do have their babies. I'd say there's more.
Yeah, wow.
Because many women say that they'll have an abortion and then afterwards everyone seems to disappear.
Oh, now Mummy's got lipstick on just above you here, just there. Yep, that's all good. Oh, no, sweetie pie. It's just so red. It's so red. I know. And so tell me about you looking into the supports. Like, what did you look into? Sorry. We're getting it everywhere. Did you look into some supports and did that give you some comfort? What did you find?
With the abortion or
with choosing to not have the abortion?
I did. I went to the hospital and they set me up with a mums group, which was really amazing because there were some single mums there. And I found a whole other community. And actually my housemate at the time, because there was a lot of women on her father's side that were really pushing me to have an abortion, like quite aggressively. And it was very, it was a lot to handle at the time. And when I decided to have her, do you want me to? Maybe we should move her.
Yeah, I realised where she got that from because she was in my daughter's room and that's my daughter's lip balm.
Sorry.
I'll buy her a new one because it's from the Body Shop. All right, I'm just going to take a pause. I'm going to try and deal with Lucy.
Come on.
All right, so we've taken the offending lip gloss and we've settled Lucy, bribed her with an ice cream and a bit more TV, see how it goes. But when we just took that little break, you were saying that on your partner's side there were women who really wanted you to get an abortion. Can you just tell us a bit more about that?
It was quite aggressive, honestly. It was very much about him-centered, that I was going to ruin his life, and it was very selfish of me to make that decision. And I honestly said to him, I will do this on my own. You don't need to be a part of this. But, yeah, it was sort of pushed back on me, like, what are your intentions? As if you wouldn't. I even had someone threaten to come to my house. Like,
Yeah.
it was very aggressive, and
And do what?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Something not good, something not nice.
Wow.
It was really hard at the time, and he was freaking out. Everyone was freaking out.
How old was he?
He was 22 as well, or 23.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and he wasn't sure what to do. He had been friends with these women for a very long time and, had a strong friendship with them, so felt that they had his best interests. So he felt torn, but also understood that it wasn't something I was necessarily expecting, but just not something I could go through with.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Because, if you had gone through with the abortion, like those women wanted you to do
Yeah.
in his life, like the abortion clinic was kind of leading you towards. It's do you often think about the fact that it's not just some random clump of cells, it's your Lucy, like your little girl that they wanted you to kill.
Looking at her now, I can't believe it was ever an option. I'm just so glad that I kept her. That's a whole life. Her personality, everything about her is so perfect and has made my little Lucy.
Yeah.
She was never just a clump of cells. She was alive right from the beginning.
Did you have to go through the pregnancy alone?
At times, yeah, I was living by myself, but my family were very supportive. It was okay. I I I enjoyed my pregnancy. It was good, other than feeling very bloated and swollen.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
But there were times when I knew I'm going to be on my own.
Yeah. Did it break up with you and Lucy's dad in the pregnancy?
No. I think, you can sort of get into it buying the little shoes and baby showers, and that can be fun, but you don't realise the weight of parenthood until you become a parent, really. So he sort of got involved for a while, but he was also still not really processing it. I mean, 9 months is a long time, but it's also not.
Yeah. And to be fair, I often felt with my 5 pregnancies, my husband didn't fully process it till after they came out.
They say
I felt
that.
like I processed it because I was carrying this child and I was bonding with each of them.
Definitely.
But then he really got the memo that we were having a baby when we had a baby.
Yeah, and they say that with men. Men become fathers when they see their baby.
Yeah.
But, he loves her now and he enjoys her. And I think he's very grateful that I didn't have an abortion, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, I'm getting goosebumps.
I think just sometimes
You
it
came
takes
so
a while.
close.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I didn't. But that's what I was saying. My housemate, Tree, at the time, I said, well, what if I did have an abortion? What if I just did it, feeling really guilty? And she said, don't you dare even think that way. She said, this baby is the biggest blessing. You just can't see it yet.
Wow.
So thank you, Tree.
Thank goodness you had Tree in your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're really strong and resilient to cope with the pressure and the threats of violence and whatever, whatever else was behind that intimidation, we're going to come to your house.
Yeah.
Or even just the emotional manipulation, you're ruining his life.
Yeah.
That's just so hard to be strong enough to go, well, no, like me having our baby isn't ruining his life. He made a choice. You both made a choice to have sex, and a consequence of sex, even if you're using contraception, can be that you fall pregnant.
That's the reality.
Yeah. And I think you stepped up to that responsibility. It sounds like he's stepping up to it now, which is beautiful. So you're not together, but he is in Lucy's life, and he's a good dad.
Yeah,
that's
he loves
good.
her. He enjoys her. The grandparents really enjoy her. Oh. Yeah, she just brings light wherever she goes. That's what Lucy means, actually, bringer of light. So,
wow.
And he picked her name.
Oh, how have you gone with forgiveness towards his parents and towards him and others maybe that are now part of your life and embrace Lucy, but before she was born they were ready to kill her?
I think for me it's more of a strong testimony just to say, hey, remember this baby that you wanted to kill? Look how much you're enjoying her. Look at what a joy she is. For me, I had the forgiveness wasn't hard because I understand where they were sort of coming from. I understand their fears. But for me, seeing them with Lucy and proving them wrong in a sense is enough for me.
Yeah. So you had the mums group, you had Tree. Did you know about, or do you even today know about Genesis Pregnancy Support and Birthline?
I did because I was actually started volunteering a little bit with them. Or not volunteering, we were making sort of little boxes with information of them inside for women to come and grab.
Was this after you had Lucy?
After I had Lucy.
So you became aware of the need?
Yeah, I was like an activist, not really, not as much as you are, but I really wanted to be there because I know how tough it was for me and how isolated and lonely you can feel during pregnancy sometimes. And I really wanted other women to know that, hey, I'm here and I'm so happy and I'm so proud of myself and so grateful that I chose to keep her. And I would love to come alongside you and be that support for you. I know your fears, I know what you're going through, but it's going to be okay.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all women need, just that one person. Yeah. What would your advice be to a woman watching this who might be 15 and pregnant or 22 like you?
I think a lot of women think my life is over if I have this child. It's all about the child, my life is over. But actually, I found that my life just began. She helped me to grow and mature in ways I never would if I didn't have her. My life wasn't really going anywhere. I was studying, but, I was hanging out with friends. It wasn't productive. So I would say you can do it. There's lots of support out there. You're welcome. I mean, if anyone wanted to contact Joan, you're welcome to have my number, and I would love to come alongside you. But it's going to be okay. Your child will enrich your life in ways you don't even know, and you will never regret it, but you will regret losing your baby.
Wow. And maybe you could just share with us one of the big highs and one of the big lows. We could start with the low so we end on the high. but what's been the hardest bit? Because I know we have two parents. I'm married to my best friend, and 4 of our pregnancies were intended and the 5th one was a little surprise. To be honest, I've shared with everyone how he's the baby that changed my life.
Yeah.
I actually had the same thought as you, and I feel terrible about it now because, I'm very privileged. I have a great job, a great husband, a great family, but when I got pregnant with him, I thought my career is over. I just can't do it. I pushed hard enough with the 4 of them to become an associate professor, but to have the 5th would just kill it now.
But your career's not over.
No. If anything, all of my dreams in my career came true after he was born.
Yeah.
When I think about it, looking at the arc of that career trajectory, it was actually stalling a bit in 2019.
Yeah.
And that patch of maternity leave in 2020, I don't know, I came back to work in 2021 with a newfound zeal, and so much came together for me. I got my promotion to professor, I got appointed to this government panel, which was a dream come true. I thought I'd get that at 65, not at 39, 40. Yeah. And I got this Australian Research Council grant. It genuinely all came together after this child was born. Yes. But at the time I thought my life is over, and my husband, he's really good at doing some CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy stuff, and he was like, Joey, you're so depressed. Let's get that thought down on paper and talk it through. And we did that. We did this method by David Burns, this psychologist, and it really helped me to see how distorted that thought was.
Yeah.
And I then was able to move past it for the rest of the pregnancy. So that was really cool. I was still nervous, but I get anyone who's watching this who is a parent knows there's real lows, but there's also real highs. So for you, perhaps tell us a low, something that's been really hard.
I think just doing a lot of it on my own, it's tough work. Yeah. If I'm honest, kids will bring out the best and the worst in you. And sometimes I don't like my worst. When I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I've been studying all day and I've got Lucy and I'm trying to get her to bed, and just things like that when I lose my temper, and then mum guilt, things like that. I think they are some of the lows, but that forces you to grow and to become a more patient, gentle and kind person, which is what I would like to be. I hope anyone would like to be. It's just difficult in so many ways, just having one set of hands instead of 2 a lot of the time. But I think the high is the fact that she does force me to be a stronger woman, to grow as a person, as a mother. And, I actually just lost a good friend of mine this week, last Saturday. And I was feeling really down, but actually Lucy's joyful, pure spirit, she was running through these birds and ducks the other day,
Yeah.
just seeing how much she just loved life in the moment and enjoyed life and how happy she was just to be there and be with her mum. It's things like that, the purity and the sweetness that just refresh my spirits and lift my spirits. It's hard to put into words, but the bond I have with her is unbreakable, and everything I do with thought of her. That's why I work so hard, I study so hard, because I want to be the best for her, but it's actually helping me to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Is there anything else I haven't asked you about the abortion thoughts that you had, or about pressures that you received that other women might go through that it just might be useful to share?
I think a lot of women think, I'm just going to get rid of it and it's gone, it'll be forgotten. I wouldn't say that's true. A lot of the women that I have spoken to that have had an abortion, it stays with you forever, just like a child. But instead of having that daunting memory, you have this wonderful life in front of you. So it's not something you can just erase. It will stay with you for forever. So I would just opt you to think about that too.
Yeah. And what are your dreams? You know, so you're a nursing student.
Yeah.
You're a mum. What do you want your life to look like?
So I want to get my degree.
Yeah.
And then I would like to get a van and take Lucy travelling around Australia for a little bit. And then I would love to have lots more babies, actually. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
They're addictive.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? They're beautiful.
Yeah.
I got a bit addicted.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, I've sort of just lately been opening the conversation with James around,
He was saying,
should we have a, did he tell you that? Yeah, should we have a 6?
Yeah.
And it was a bit cheeky the way I brought it up, because I brought it up in front of all the kids because I knew they would be on my side.
Oh, no.
So I brought it up in the car and they were like, yes, let's have a baby. Let's have a baby. And then my 8-year-old was like, wait a minute, how do you guys actually have a baby?
Oh, how's that conversation
I
going?
know. And then one of the older ones said, it's a bit complicated, Ned.
Yeah. What was his reaction when you brought up having a 6, James?
Oh, James, look, yeah, just the other day when I brought it up. So I would say, if I'm really honest, for the last 18 months, he hasn't been super keen, and I haven't been super keen in the sense of our plate is just so full, and this work that I've taken on, the pro-life work, along with my job and raising these children, and one of our daughters is a competitive athlete, so there's just a lot going on. And he's got a big career, James, as well. Yeah. So I guess we just sort of felt, okay, we just couldn't. But just lately, because our youngest has started school and now they're all at school, we're both really grieving not having a baby at home and a toddler.
Yeah.
And we're just missing that joy that they bring that you just described. And so the other day, just 2 days ago, when I brought it up with him, he actually was the most open that he'd ever been, and I'm the most open. But I don't know. I think it might be one of those ones where if it happens, I genuinely will be really excited, I think, but I'll be nervous. But we'll have to see what happens.
I think if you have the capacity, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a vote for having another one. It's so nice to chat with you.
Yeah,
and it's
you
really
too.
beautiful to hear your story of motherhood and to meet. I'm really glad everyone got to meet Lucy.
Yeah.
Because it really puts it into perspective, doesn't it, when we're talking about abortion.
And you see the life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me share, and I hope that, some other women out there struggling, I hope that this is encouraging to you, that I didn't have it all together and I still don't, but my life is so much better for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shannon.